Yes, lads, what is going on? And welcome to Season 3, Episode 28, I'm pretty sure, of The Running Irishman. In this episode, we are joined with Mark Pearce. Before we jump into everything with Mark, I just want to say a big thanks to today's sponsor, M1 Recovery. You can find a link to their website, m1recovery.com, down in the description below, along with their Instagram, which is M1 Recovery. On there, you can see pictures and videos of their products, with also a link to the website. There's currently a 30% sale off on the website where you can pick up a top class massage gun for $89.99. That is dollars. And it's a really great company who's helping support the podcast at the moment. To help obviously with you and my recovery needs, as I have just started the gym, and the massage guns will really help me a lot with my recovery. So I do want to say a big thank you to them for supporting this episode of the podcast. Make sure to make use of that 30% sale that is on now. Links are down in the description below, along with their Instagram, as I said. And again, I really do appreciate them sponsoring this episode of the podcast with Mark Pearce, who is currently the British Steeplechase champion, and who recently ran in the Diamond League in Monaco, who had ambitions to go to the Olympics this year, but unfortunately just missed out on the Olympic standard by 2 seconds, which is obviously a little bit disappointing for him. But he's only young. He has a big career ahead when we get into his early days of running all the different sports he done, his time over in Singapore, kind of how that affected his running and his ambitions to go over to America. And he's also a professional Hoka athlete. So we dive into everything. Obviously, Mark is a really sound lad, and I really do appreciate him taking the time out and coming onto the podcast. I really did appreciate it, and I really did enjoy the chat with him. I hope you all that watch or listen do enjoy as well. Mark's socials are down in the description below, again, along with M1 Recovery's Instagram and their website. I do hope you all enjoyed this episode of the podcast, and roll the intro. Bye. Yes, lads, what is going on?
My name is Amy O'Donoghue.
People call me Dr. Josh.
My name's Lewis O'Loughlin.
My name is O'Donnell.
I'm Charlie O'Donovan.
I'm Abdul Jill.
I'm Scott Fagan.
I'm Mark Conrad.
My name's Cormac Dalton.
I'm Paul Byrne.
I'm Michael Morgan.
More than a runner.
The Irish Hammer.
My name's Brennan.
I'm Brian Fay.
It's Dash Bar.
I am a triathlete.
Craig Engels, Cheryl Nolan, Sean Donoghue,
John Rankin.
We got 10th at the World Championships in 2019 in Doha.
I'm doing great, just happy to be on the podcast.
I'm a Man United fan.
Let's get into this episode of the podcast. Yes, lads, so we're here with Mark Pearce. Mark, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come on the podcast and have a little chat.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So to get things kicked off, for people that don't know who you are, do you want to just introduce yourself about your running life and who you are and what you're all about?
Yeah, I am the British Steeplechase champion, so I run with Birmingham Track Elite. I live in southwest Birmingham, come from St Albans in the southeast of England, but I've lived in the Midlands since 2014. Love it here. Maybe I'll stay forever. Who knows? That's me. Yeah.
That's a very modest introduction, but it gives us a lot to work with. Before we jump in, Mark, I know maybe this wasn't on the questions that I sent you, but did you watch the match last night?
Yeah, we did.
You did. And
we had our mates round, and we were getting very excited, and we had a very exciting moment when Jordan Pickford saved that penalty, and we thought it'd save the whole day, and then it was just very sad silences. It
was sad for England, but good for the rest of the world. Everyone was against them. Yeah. Everyone.
I think we really enjoyed that,
it would have been
bit of small nation syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been nice for you to win with everyone against you. Look,
it was nice to be winning for so long.
Yeah, true. Right. maybe you scored a bit too early.
Yeah, maybe.
But look, I want us to get along for the duration of this episode. So I don't want to give my opinion on the game or who I was shouting for, so I think we'll leave it at that and get back to the running.
Okay.
Perfect. So kind of jumping in. Obviously, we were just talking about the football there. So growing up, was there any other sports you done maybe before you started running, or were you always a runner?
Yeah, I loved football. And my dad had been really into tennis when he was a kid, so he like took us along to the tennis club. And I played that. Played all of them like through primary school.
Yeah.
Swam every week. And then kind of secondary school, like did a bit of rugby, experimented with hockey, didn't really get on with that. And then like as I got older, everyone else grew first. So like kind of being the smallest guy in the school, I ended up like cross country was a natural fit. It's the one where I could outperform my size.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of fell into it in the end.
So then you start off in the school. So when did you end up joining Luton AC to really start things off?
Yeah, we had a district cross country race in my town. So in year 5, I would have been 10 years old. I won that, so I was the best cross country runner in Harpenden.
Very good.
Yeah, and actually, there's a kid in the year above me called James McMurray, who was quite a good runner. Had the British under-17 record in the 1500 for a while, so I was used to say I went to school with James McMurray. So he was absolutely crushing it, and I think was like quite an inspiration in terms of like just, you know, you look up to someone who's slightly older than you who's excelling at sport. So like, you know, I wanted to get better like James, and went along to Luton AC, which was like the nearest club to me. More of a focus on cross country, seemed to be like quite a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it there until I went to school kind of in the other direction. And like training with the school team became like much more of a natural fit. So I was with Luton for 2 years, and I think that they showed me what training was, which was cool.
Deadly. So kind of when you joined running, was it a natural process? Did you really enjoy it straight away, or were there kind of ups and downs? Because I even know from my personal experience, it's not, you know, going from, you know, sports like football or different team sports from a young age where it's really all about the fun. Then you get to running where, you know, you're running, so it's kind of the thing everyone dreads even at a young age. So did you, you know, jump in and enjoy it straight away, or, you know, was there ups and downs?
I think it was always the thing in football that I was really good at, was like getting around the pitch and like giving my all, and I really enjoyed that side of things. Like I think and I really enjoyed like the immediate success that came with like being good at it. So that made me like want to kind of learn a little bit more, do like race more than once a year. And I think that kind of drew me in initially. And definitely like my PE teacher at primary school like really encouraged it. So she would like let me go and run on the field at lunchtimes, because like I just like got super kind of keen about it. And just really enjoyed the fact that like my body could do this like for long periods of time. So yeah, I think I loved football and like the excitement of playing with a team. And then it must have taken a few years before like I really got into kind of the team aspect of cross country and like getting some of that from running. So I think I didn't really get running until I had like equally committed teammates. But yeah, I did enjoy like moving my body in that way.
Definitely. And you kind of, you know, nowadays you start training off with some of the big names nowadays in the sport. Definitely on the British team, people like, you know, Lizzie Bird, who's now the British steeplechase record holder. You know, do you feel like that helped you? Did you know that kind of push you in a way to get better, or, you know, was it just coincidence that you both end up being really great steeplechase runners?
I don't know. Neither of us did it when we were at school. So we trained under a guy called George Harrison, who was like a long time Shaftesbury Barnet Harriers coach. And also coached my school team. So the first guy from our group to like really make it was Kyle Langford, like as a 16-year-old, like turning up, had like never run in his life and ended up like breaking 2 minutes for the 800 and then winning the English schools and then like making the world championships. And we were all still at school, and it was just so bizarre, like seeing this guy go from like turning up in a pair of trainers and tracksuit bottoms to like watch his sister run, to like making the world's team. And we were like, hang on, like if you he's obviously got a massive amount of talent, but
Definitely,
you can make it. Like that's something that can happen. So I think like Lizzie went off to the States and has had most of her career out there, and got into the steeplechase at university, kind of like me. But I think that, George gave us a real like love for running, and I guess kind of a introduction to like the attitude and the attitude that you had to bring to training in order to succeed. So I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of his athletes are still in the sport and still doing really well.
Was that kind of bittersweet in a way that one of your teammates was doing really well, but just the fact that he rocked up and was really good straight away? Were you kind of maybe a bit envious of that in a way?
I think a little bit, like, because it didn't seem like he worked very hard. Like he did literally 15 miles a week as a teenager. It was bizarre, and I think like the guys that he was racing against when he got to the English schools, like were training so much harder than him, and he would just put them away. So I think like obviously he was massively naturally talented, but then when it was like a club night on a Tuesday, George would still make him do like the 3K session with us. So like he wasn't any better than us at the endurance side of things. He was just
definitely.
like, he could also run like a 48-second 400, which none of us were anywhere near. Like I couldn't break 60. So yeah, I don't know. He's very, very like likable bloke. And I think, just when you see your friends doing well, like you just want to support them. So I think that was what we did. We just got really excited for him.
Definitely.
Yeah,
no, did you kind of, as you said, it was quite heavy on the cross country, definitely, even at junior age. So did you kind of see any success for yourself at that time?
Not individually. Like I would make the county team and run at English schools every other year. That was like the highlight in my season. As part of the school team, like we won the national schools title a couple of times. And we got to do some like big races through the school. Like we went to Malta when I was like 16 and ran in the world school cross country. And came fourth there as a team, which was amazing. But like as an individual, like I was usually like the fourth scorer in that team, like not anything outstanding. But just really enjoyed like training with my friends, and wanted to do that at university. That was like all that I thought running was and should be, really.
Yeah, definitely. And did you kind of, moving into university, did you see a shift in your running? Did you kind of see that maybe you were getting better at a faster pace, or was it kind of still the same?
I think there was a bit of like strength that came from going to university. So at school, like we didn't run super high volume. A lot of it was very intense. So I didn't feel myself getting massively quicker when I went to university, but like training with, guys who were running marathons or like fast 10Ks, and competing at like a much higher level than myself. Like when I went to university, like Luke Gunn, who's now my coach, was still competing, and he was like going to Commonwealth Games and like was just a super strong performer in the chase. So like the standard of the group was so much better, and I think like the volume of the sessions was much higher. So I was like just getting used to, doing more than 8 miles on a Sunday, and doing a session that was more than 6 miles, like in, just by itself midweek. So like, I think the first couple of years I was just getting used to that, and I did see it pay off, but I think I just became a bit more well-rounded, like athletically. Like my times didn't do anything crazy. Just got stuck in with the group. We had a really strong year that all came together to university. So I think it was just really cool to like experience that, running together and living together, socializing.
Definitely.
Brilliant.
So you were talking about, when you were in school before you went to uni, kind of that was your goal, to go to university. That was kind of to be ready for that, and obviously to run in the BUCs, and on the A team. So you did see a little bit of success there. Was that kind of, in a sense, a little bit of a mini dream come true in a sense, because you did pick up some two team titles. So kind of what was that like for you?
Yeah, like I think I was aware of, so the British University cross country It's like the big event of the year, Bucks in January. And even as a school kid, I was aware of like the rivalry between Birmingham and Loughborough and St Mary's. And Birmingham just seemed like the right fit for me. Like I had some friends that had gone there. There were guys that I'd seen like destroying the junior ranks, who were all at Birmingham. So like Johnny Hay was absolutely flying, and he was like the national cross country champion. There was Johnny Davies, who like I live with now, but as a junior was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like best in the country by miles over the 3K. And those were the guys who were like leading the university group. So I was like, wouldn't it be amazing if like I could go to university and like break into that team and be part of that? And that was like the highlight of my first year, was getting like a last minute call up to the A team to run as like the 6th man. And everyone in front of me having an absolute blinder, and like coming away with the team title over St Mary's was just like a dream come true. I was like, I never thought I would do that like at university. Like that was kind of, maybe by my 4th year I would get to do that. But yeah, just being part of that team was so contagious and so exciting.
Definitely, and you see some athletes, at a professional level or even at more of an amateur level, when they have one good race, they kind of get a bit of a breakthrough, in that sense, where they start, they build up confidence and they start running really well. Did that happen at all to you when you start winning these 2 national titles, or the 2 cross country titles? Did you kind of get a boost in confidence, or did you see any kind of rapid growth in your running then?
Yeah, it gives you belief, doesn't it? Like you're like, oh, I sort of belong here.
Definitely.
I don't know. I've always struggled to account for my time at university. Like everyone would say, like, Mark, you're really like, you've got some talent, you should try and use it. And like I was just quite happy, like, running, within myself. I do like 40 or 50 miles a week. I would try not to get injured. I'd balance my like uni work. I'd like go along to all the other clubs and societies that I wanted to join, and like try to like balance it all really carefully, and I didn't want to become obsessive about running. But like I think the older I got, and then like living with runners in my final year of uni, like I think really started to kind of get in my head. I think I fought the desire to fully commit to my running for a long time. And it only really happened after university. Sorry,
go on.
No, I don't know. Those races at university probably like gave me confidence that like I could run fairly well without like doing an awful lot, which I don't know. I think that's quite a nice thing to know, that like if I ever step back from running, like I can just keep quite fit with like a minimal amount of training, which is
definitely
I don't know.
Yeah, no. Why do you think kind of you were trying to fight that off, the full commitment to running? Was it you were enjoying how things are going, or was it just maybe at the time were you just not as passionate about it?
Yeah. He said he wasn't going to ask any controversial
I'm sorry.
questions. It's interesting. I think a lot of people are scared of like failure.
Yeah.
And I think that is true for me as well. Like, you commit to something and you give your absolute best, and if it doesn't work out, then you only really, you can hold your hands up and say like, I just wasn't good enough. Like, and I think that's quite daunting. So like if you go like all in on running, then what if it doesn't work? What if you get injured or don't set PBs or anything? Like I just was always skeptical that more training or more enthusiasm would make me get better. And I was quite like set in that view. I didn't want to be like one of those guys that was always like trying to get better and never really succeeding. Which I think was, that's just me being like a proud, stubborn young man, like resisting everyone telling me to like give a bit more or try a bit harder. Weird. I probably lost some good years.
Maybe, but then you could look at it on the other side of the spectrum where, maybe if you were all in from the times where you had the really good balance, then maybe, you could have picked up an injury, you could have maybe burnt out or gotten sick of the sport. So, you never know. But, it definitely hasn't worked out too poorly for you. So we'll say it was a really, really smart decision from you.
Cheers.
Kind of then leaving the UK from 2016 to 2017, you end up going over to Singapore. So, kind of, what was the thought process behind that? Was this for the sole purpose of running, or was it kind of just to travel?
Yeah, not at all. I chose a course when I came to Birmingham that would give me a year abroad. Like, I think as with a lot of like young runners, I'd looked at going to the NCAA.
Yeah.
And kind of backed away from it last minute. Like, again, maybe just didn't want to commit everything.
True.
And so but I did really want to study abroad. I thought it'd be really cool to like get out of the UK for a year and like experience another culture. And as I was getting to it, like making that decision, Singapore just really stood out as somewhere that I wanted to go. Like, I'd never been to Asia before. Like, they spoke English there. So, I thought like it'll be a big cultural transition, but I'll still probably be able to get on just fine and be quite independent. So it just seemed like a really exciting place to go and study for like a year. So I got there and like tried to get involved with the running side of things, like that it's very, very different over there. Like, the enthusiasm levels are so high. Like, you go down to a local track in the evening and there are like literally 100, 200 people running around, like just going for their evening run. And like, the coach that I had there, Mr. Queck, would like clear like the inside 2 lanes for his like elite group of Singaporean athletes to like charge round.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just super cool. Like, people that cheer you on, but like they don't really cheer. Like, you just get like you just get applause as you go around. People will clap as you run past.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I loved it, and I thought I was like getting on really well. Like, despite the heat, like I used to get heat stroke all the time.
Jesus.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a lot of fun. But turned out that like all of the new foods I was trying was making me quite fat, and all of the time that I was spent in bed, like suffering from the heat, was like actually not making me very fit. So I came back and then like finished last in a lot of races that I thought I was going to win. I'd like enter a 5K and be like, okay, I'm going to break 15, and then run around in like 16:30, 17 minutes. Be like, oh no, what has happened to me? Like, it was bizarre, but a lot of fun at the same time. Won my first national title in Singapore.
Oh, deadly.
Yeah,
that's really cool. So it wasn't all bad.
No, absolutely
in
not.
the end. And then kind of, you were mentioned there, a lot of athletes kind of have the dream to go over and run the NCAA, maybe on a scholarship or whatnot. So did kind of losing that fitness when you were away in Singapore kind of, scare that thought of going over to America then scare you a little bit? Kind of, did it get into your head, or was it just you just kind of didn't want it, or the opportunity didn't come about?
Yeah, so I was I guess I was training like while I was in Singapore, like, with the intention. I was like, well, I'm a bit older now, like I know what training is working for me, like quite enjoying my running. It'd be nice to, give it a year or 2 years in the NCAA and see like what I could do with it. So I was training away, hoping that when I got back to the UK, like there'd be a chance to run some decent times that would mean that I was like worthy of a scholarship, basically. Because like if you can't come with the attributes to help the team, then it's quite difficult for them to offer you any money. So like I was looking into this, and like at the same time just really, really struggling to even hit the times that I'd done when I left school, let alone like, coming in as a grad student. They really want you to like hit the ground running, like be leading the team, rather than like they're not going to see you as a developmental athlete. True. So I think like by the end of that summer, I was just like, well, it was a good year, but I think the dream of running in the NCAA is gone. Which, I think things work out the way they do. And I don't regret it now, but I think I was quite disappointed at the time.
Yeah, true. It's like, so maybe the fact that you were going over a little bit older as a grad student, you felt that little bit more pressure. They wouldn't be as easy on you as you mentioned, kind of. You would be older than a good few of the lads there, so they would be expecting you to be running faster than them and to be running some fast times. And as you said, like, they're not gonna just hand out money to anyone. So if you can't hit the times, then they're just not gonna hand you out the money.
No, I'm rightly so. I think it's a mistake in a sport like athletics to feel like you really deserve anything. Like,
True.
You just have to set your goals and work towards them and
Definitely.
try and achieve them. I think you can't really rely on people to do you favors.
No.
So yeah.
So as a lot of people know, when you start up running, you don't usually start up in the steeplechase, and I know that from personal experience. So kind of when did you get into the steeplechase, and how did that come about?
Gosh, I'd always looked at those. I don't know about you. I always looked at those barriers and just thought, like, how cool is that? Like,
I know.
So like, even at secondary school, like, remember, like, George would get the barriers out for one of the other tall kids to like run over in training, and I'd be like, oh, can I have a go? And he'd be like, Mark, no, you're too small, like, it comes up to your chest. And so I was like quite bitter about this. It's like, oh well, one day I'll show him.
One day,
I'll run in the steeplechase. So I think, like, I'd had that abysmal summer after Singapore, and I had one more year left of uni, and I thought, I'm not going to the NCAA. Like, this is probably it. This is my last year, like, of really competitive training in, like, a good group where I've got, like, plenty of time to focus on running. So I'll give the steeplechase a go, because, like, otherwise I'm never going to do it.
True.
So yeah, I in January there was like a Monday evening group in the winter. The steeplechasers would all meet at the track to do hurdle drills. So, like, if you were going to try the steeplechase that summer, you kind of had to debut. You'd walk down to the track on a Monday night while all the steeplechasers were congregating, and you'd show up, and Luke would look at you and be like, are you going to try the steeplechase? And I'd be like, yes, Luke, I am. And yeah, like, just loved it. Got into like hurdle drills first. So we did months and months of like walkovers and like building up kind of hurdling technique. And I was just absolutely loving it. Like, used to like whoop every time I went over a barrier. It was like so exciting to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, like, before I'd even done, I was so nervous going into my first steeplechase, because I was like, I better be good at this, because I love this event already. Like,
Yeah.
It's just so, I love the technical side of it, and like working on that aspect.
Definitely.
Like, the idea that you could beat a stronger runner just by being better at hurdling,
True,
just seems so satisfying. So yeah, that was it for me. And
then how did your first few races go?
Yeah, pretty well. It was my final summer was just about to graduate, and we didn't have enough steeplechasers at the university.
All right.
To make a team. So I was like, well, I've never like qualified for Bucks athletics. Never got to run for the university before.
Yeah.
So I had to run a 2K in order to qualify. Like, you had to have a mark to enter. So I went down to London on a really cold day, because it was really snowy that April. So yeah, I think there was like some snow on the ground while I was warming up. And this 2K steeplechase went really well. I could do my first water jump in the first lap.
That was your first ever.
That was my first ever water jump. And I just had such a good time. Ran like 6:12 maybe.
Wow.
And yeah, was just like absolutely buzzing. I was sore afterwards.
Oh
but
yeah,
like,
your hips. I think my hips are in bits afterwards.
Isn't it? I always found my ankles like get really swollen.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I think everyone's a bit different, aren't they? And then so I went to Bucks, and then by the time we got to Bucks in May, it was super hot, and like not acclimatized to this at all. So I had to wear a bucket hat in the race because like I was worried about getting burned.
Hence the Instagram tag.
Hence the I hadn't got Instagram at that point. I think after the race I was like, I should get Instagram. Like people are talking about the guy that wore the bucket hat in the Bucks Steeplechase final. And
did you feel then you had to wear all the races?
I kept threatening to. My bucket hat is like a $5 Walmart item. And it actually is really bad for steeplechasing and it blows off like with any sign of wind.
Really, yeah.
So I was like having to hold it onto my head over the water jump and stuff. It was ridiculous. And as soon as the race got hard, I like threw it off in dismay because I was like, this
Putting
is
everything
not
on the line.
Yeah, exactly. This is it. It's time to go.
Anymore.
Turned out the hat was not the issue. It was just the race is really hard. But yeah, that was the bucket hat runner. I think I made British champs by the end of that summer, and my parents were like, if you wear the bucket hat at that race, like we will like leave the stadium. Like we're disowning you. So yeah, I think it's a strictly training item now.
I had to do it for the fans. There's definitely people that turned up to see you wearing the bucket hat.
I don't think they were. Genuinely. But yeah, I think they're great items of headwear.
Oh, definitely.
So versatile.
Oh,
you can soak them in water, like keep you cool.
Yeah.
Protect your neck and your face. It's brilliant.
You can wear them, at the beach. But you can wear them then going out.
Yeah.
And
during the Euros, like they were panning around showing
all
all the English supporters in their bucket hats. And I was like, oh, nice, yeah. I was ahead of my time.
Were you watching the match in your bucket hat?
But my friends actually came up to British champs this year and all wore bucket hats, which was quite cool. I had like my crew of bucket hat wearing,
keeping it alive
fans. It was great. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So no, it sounded like you got off to a pretty fun and quite a good start to the steeplechase. We'll come back to it now in a few, talking about the British champs last year. But obviously, you're not just a bucket hat steeplechase runner. You're also a Hoka athlete. So kind of talk a little bit about that. How did that come about? Was it on the cards for a while? Was there any other company or any other brands that were getting in touch with you, or kind of what was the story there?
Oh man, yeah. There really wasn't. I got talking to my agent Sam Johnson, who runs Head Start Management. So he's like a 23-year-old bloke who I think just absolutely loves the sport and wants to stay involved. And he's taken his agent's exams and started kind of signing on athletes. And I think like he was talking to me, I was talking to him, and I said to him, look, like, I'm a 25-year-old steeplechaser. Like there's no money for you in like working for me. And he was like, I don't really care. Like I think I just want to like help you out. So so I wasn't really expecting very much at all. I thought I needed an agent to help me get into races, so that I could get my time down. That was all I really cared about. And if Sam could like negotiate me some kit, then that was a huge bonus. Definitely. I already like ran in Hoka shoes. One of the guys who trains in Birmingham with me, Matt Jackson, works for Hoka as a sales rep. So like, I was familiar with the shoes, really enjoyed training in them, and thought like they look like a really kind of fun brand. I think like, I really like trail running as well. So I think like I'd follow guys like Jim Walmsley and like they were all Hoka athletes. So yeah, I thought Hoka were pretty cool. And told Sam that like if he was going to approach someone, like that'd be a good place to start. And yeah, just so happened that as the summer started going quite well, they got in touch and like very, very generously supported me. So yeah, I'm kind of amazed by that. But yeah, it's great for me to have that support.
Yeah, 100%. Was that always a dream of yours to to sign with a brand, or kind of did you just want to be in the biggest races?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure that like signing with a brand in itself was like the thing. I think, I'd seen like the successful guys around me who were like getting kit drops
Yeah.
As a junior, and I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
But like I didn't really mind. Like I think like I quite enjoy running in like a pair of shorts and nothing else. So like
Yeah.
I tried barefoot running for a little while just to see if I like actually needed to buy shoes. Turned out I did. Like, yeah, I don't think that was always a huge thing. It's just like getting a bit older in the sport, like, and you're trying to balance work alongside, like,
Yeah.
being paid is incredibly helpful for
Definitely.
like the amount of time that you're starting to put into athletics. So I think that was the main thing for me. And then being in the big races is amazing. I think the Diamond League experience that I've got to have this year have just been like so surreal.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Kind of on that topic, is this your first year of racing in the Diamond League?
Yeah. I mean, last year was mad because obviously nothing really happened. But I had 2 races at the very end of the year in the steeplechase. So I think like it was kind of a goal. I think like I knew that the Olympic standard was like fast enough that it would only really happen in like a Diamond League race or a Gold Tour race or something like pretty high level. And I had no idea how to get into a race like that. I'd never been anywhere near a race like that. So that was, yeah. Sorry, I've lost track.
No, grand.
But yeah, that was it.
Yeah, so kind of was as you mentioned, it was kind of like a surreal moment for you.
Yeah, big step up.
Definitely.
I think it's normally the steeplechase is not very like. Sometimes when you do them at school, like everyone would gather around the water jump, see someone fall in, but like it doesn't feel like the biggest, most glamorous event, does it? Like, I think like actually having a crowd watching me was quite bizarre.
Definitely.
Wasn't very used to that. And just like the stage you were suddenly on, and like the people, and you see like Jakob Ingebrigtsen like warming up on the other side of the warm-up area, and you're like, oh my days, like what is going on? These are people I've only seen on the telly, like thought I would only ever see on the telly. And like, there they are in the flesh.
That's it. That's what I was gonna ask you. Like, was there ever moments like you'd be in the car room or in the warm-up area and you see like people like Jakob Ingebrigtsen or someone like Paul Schlemo or sticking with the steeplechase El Bacali or someone like that?
Well, he couldn't make it to Gateshead. I was really disappointed.
No, he couldn't. Yeah.
Like I was like looking at the start list, being like, oh my word! Like El Bacali is in the race. Like, what is this going to be? It's going to be like an 8 flat race. Or like, what am I going to do?
6'7" monster. Like.
Yeah, no, he's amazing, isn't he? What a machine.
I know.
Who? I think Hilary Bohr is quite a cool person to meet in the steeplechase. But yeah, like. I ended up like in a warm down with Stewie McSwain and Jakob Ingebrigtsen in Monaco, which was just like the most surreal experience. I was like trying to stay cool, like
I'm here too. I'm racing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what's your name again? Sorry.
Yeah.
Stewie, cool, nice to meet you.
Oh, you obviously know me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. I'd say it was crazy. Kind of moving on to the most recent Diamond League race, you could say it was crazy nonetheless. Kind of, do you want to just give us your perspective on the race? Did it go to plan for you? Kind of, what was like? Obviously, the finish for the guys at the front was just unexpected. So, kind of, what was it like from your perspective?
Yeah. So if you haven't watched it, do more. Definitely, because it's quite funny. Like, the lap counter was wrong from about 3 laps to go. So like they were counting down, and I was like looking at the clock and looking at the lap counter and being like, I don't think that's right.
On world record pace here.
Like I was feeling awful as well. Like had the worst chase in my whole season, which was a shame because it was the biggest race probably. But like I was running around dead last, looking at the clock, being like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, and you know what's coming. You come up and you can see that it's got like 1 lap to go, and you're starting to hear the bell go off for the leaders, and you're like, there is not 1 lap to go. Like, I know there's not 1 lap to go. I'm going through in 6 minutes. This is bizarre.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
They was coming through in like 6:30, and I was like, if he pulls out like a 63-second lap, like that's just crazy.
Yeah. And I looked up at the big screen, like on the back straight, and I could like hear, because I think like being way off the back, I kind of tuned out of like the race pretty much. Like I was not fighting with anyone, and normally you can't hear anything when you're like so in the zone.
Yeah.
But I tuned out enough that I could hear the stadium announcer, and he was going like, "There's 1 lap to go. There's 1 lap to go," and obviously like the guy at the front couldn't hear him. And I was like watching him on the big screen, like pegging it down the back straight.
That's just unacceptable, really, though, isn't it?
No, I know, and I watched it back, and like the carnage on that last lap, it was so bad. But like,
it was shocking.
It does happen, the officials are human, I guess. But
true,
you just have to ride it out as best you can as an athlete, I think.
Yeah, I suppose. And then kind of, even when I was watching the race, even the lads in second and third, I don't know if they were thinking maybe like, if they were thinking, is he gonna actually try hold this for another lap? Because they kind of went with him. What were you like when you realised like this is wrong? Did you pick up the pace because everyone else did, thinking it was the last lap, or did you kind of just keep it steady?
I was on the limit the whole time. I think like
okay.
it was such a being thrown in at the deep end experience. Like there was no like, I was trying to attack every barrier and like run as fast as I could, but it just was not happening that day. I watched it back though. I think the guys in second and third, like, I don't know what would you do, like penultimate lap, like the guy in front of you goes sprinting off, like like the money on the line for like positions in the Diamond League is silly, and you're like you're kind of in with a shout and you feel quite good, but do you go like knowing that the guy's probably made a mistake, but he might not? Like, that's the thing. That's what I was thinking. Mad. That's what I was thinking that they were thinking was, like, is he actually going to be able to hold this for another lap after this, or B, did they not know either? What was really going on? But I think you've got to stay in touch, haven't you?
That's the thing. Like, even if he was like eyeballs out, like he was absolutely pegging it, like clearing the water, jumping everything, like absolutely going. And then obviously they didn't go too hard where they didn't have anything left for the actual last lap, but they did, as I said, they did stay in touch with him, so they were able to then take him out. I thought he looked, when he was coming around the bend in the final lap, the first bend, he looked like he was just gonna stop. But to be fair, he did keep going. Did you get anywhere near him, or?
I think he was not. Well, he might have been. He ended up finishing like 10 seconds in front of me. I don't know, what was his last lap in the end? I think he ran like a 78 for his final lap, which
it was really bad.
Yeah, like considering he'd been doing 65s before that. Like, mad.
What was?
I think did it make you think of those elimination miles they used to run?
I swear, I was like, it reminded me of one of them elimination miles. Like he was pegging it near the end, and then kind of going slow then again on the next lap, and then was gonna try peg it down at the end. But unfortunately for him, would you say maybe he'd get some sort of compensation or something for the mistake that was made, or?
Yeah, I have no idea. You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you really would.
Diamond League contacts him next year. Like, we're really, really sorry about last year. Like, here's a really nice appearance fee to make it worth your while. We promise we won't do it again. We've got 2 lap counters this time. Yeah,
so it was. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of a bit of the VAR for the Denmark-England game. Do you know that?
I don't think I watched the Denmark game. Go on, run me through it.
The Sterling penalty. Just the mistakes that were made in the VAR room, just like the announcer for the last lap of the steeplechase. Just everything was just wrong.
It's a very public spectacle, isn't it? Like,
oh yeah,
when it goes wrong like that in the biggest race in the world.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. But
still a person, isn't it? It's the same as like your local league, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's just there's probably more repercussions then in a race like the Diamond League.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
No, I really, was there kind of like an atmosphere then, the way in the cool down area, or when some of the athletes were getting changed? Was it a tense atmosphere? Was there some arguing, some giving out, or was everyone just chilled?
No, I think everyone saw the funny side afterwards. Like, I don't know, the Europeans were all just like dead, and I think thought it was hilarious that we'd all had to run an extra lap. But like, I think
that's good. That
it's not like it's not anyone's fault really. You're like,
true,
it's happened. Like, there's no way we want to go and run the race again.
No.
What are you going to do?
Jeez, that's the thing.
Yeah, that'll be a story. And I think everyone else just like onto the Olympics now. So
definitely.
Bigger things.
Kind of coming into a bit of a more upbeat and happy side of your steeplechase career, is last year winning the British Champion Steeplechase in 8 minutes 24 seconds. So, did you go into that race confident that you'd win? Obviously, you were, I'd presume, for competing in the steeplechase in the Diamond League, you would kind of been one of the favourites, So were you confident going in? Were you going in to win? Was it a tactical race? Was it 8:24 is not a time to shy away from by any means. So what were you like going into the race, and what was the race like?
Oh yeah, so there was quite a lot of like context around the British Champs. Like, we had two guys who had the Olympic standard of 8:22. So Phil Norman and Zach Seddon. I think they were probably the two favourites. But I'd beaten them both at the Gateshead Diamond League. So like, I thought I could compete with them.
Yeah.
And then we had like Jermaine Coleman, who's like the famous Tin Man. He'd run sub 8:30 as well. So I think like he was a bit of a danger. And like, there was that added knowledge that you need top two and the standard to get selected for the Olympics. So like, everyone's kind of running for their own Olympic dream. Jermaine and I needed the standard and top two, and Zach and Phil, probably the two favorites, only needed to basically come top two and just sit on us. So like, me and my coach sat down that week and we talked about it. Like, do I want to compete for the British title, or do I want to try my best to make the Olympic Games? And I thought, like, I didn't think there was any way that I could try and run the standard and also win, just because like the margins are so fine, like between us at the moment, that like, if you're like giving your closest rivals like basically a lead out for the whole race, then there's no way you're going to be able to respond when they kick past you with 100 meters to go. But I said, like, I just want to know that I tried my best. Like, I'd run 8:25 in Nice a couple of weeks before. I was like, I just think it's not impossible for me to run 8:22. So I really want to go for it. And I did, and I ran from the front the whole way, and it was absolutely brutal. There was a little bit of a wind. Like, I don't know, I dug so deep, and like we managed. Like, I think Phil had a bit of an off day, fell away with a couple of laps to go, and it was just me and Zach left, and Zach made a bit of a move down the back straight. I had a really bad hurdle down the back straight, and then lost a couple of meters. But I just think, like, once you've led for that long, like, there's kind of this righteous indignation inside you. Like, I've done all the work here. Like, I'm gonna at least attack and see if I can get you like
Definitely, yeah.
over the last 100. So like put in a sprint and managed to just catch him over the last barrier, but missed the Olympic time by a couple of seconds. So I think like was really absolutely delighted to win, and really glad actually that I tried my best to like make the team, because I think if I come top 2 and like made no effort to get the standard, like
True, yeah.
that would have been a bit of a shame. So yeah, I didn't expect to win, to be honest, but wanted to have the best go I could at the time, and winning was a massive bonus, especially missing the time.
So
If
when
that makes sense.
yeah, so when you're sitting down and watching the steeplechase in the Olympics, you won't kind of have any regrets. Then you'll say you left it all out on the track, coming away obviously not to disregard the become British champion. You know, that's obviously a huge achievement, and it obviously leads you on then for bigger things. Maybe for Paris in 2024. I'm pretty sure is where that Olympics is. So
yeah.
So
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, so is that kind of where you're? I know that's 4 years away, but kind of has this given you the confidence, you know, with 4 extra years training, that you will be able to make top 2, become hopefully British champion to defend your title again in another 4 years, and then also be able to get the standards down for Paris.
Yeah, I think so. Like I'm starting to have that belief. I think.
Yeah.
You know, starting to compete with guys who are like at the top of the world rankings, like even if there is a gap, like I know that that's something that I can work on and close, and I know that like me and my coach are like self-reflective enough that we can work on things and improve things, and I'm looking forward to the next few years and like what improvements they can bring. And yeah, I think you're right, there's a real kind of peace and a real satisfaction knowing that I gave my very best at the champs to make the team, but like also absolutely buzzing for Zach and Phil. Like it's their first Olympics, and like I think they're gonna crush it.
100%.
So yeah, I think like my time hopefully will come, but I'm just trying to really enjoy like being in the shape of my life and running in the coolest races that I've ever been in. So yeah.
And there's no way, even the fact that you are British champion, there's no way that, you know, the Olympic panel could even still select you for the steeplechase, or the fact that you didn't hit the standard of 8:22, that it's just not possible.
There was an appeal, and I was invited on my world ranking, but British Athletics, I think just based on like their selection policy, like couldn't take me at my age in my event, which I think, you know, the selectors are the selectors for a reason. It's not an easy job, like deciding who's got future medal potential and who doesn't. So I think I tried to make my case, and I think, yeah, they respectfully disagreed. So yeah, I think I'll be waiting for another opportunity. But yeah.
And until then,
I know the Australian that got invited instead of me, so I think that's really nice too. Like, he then got that world ranking invitation, so I think everyone's going to make the best of it.
Definitely. Between obviously now and 4 years time, or I suppose 3 years time, for Paris, you know, you'll have things like, you know, will the Commonwealth Games be on, the World Championships and whatnot. So there's definitely some big tournaments and obviously races back in England for yourself that you can really kind of try and start making a name for yourself more than you already have, and start to cut that time down even more. Is that kind of, you know, the more short-term goals, but it inevitably leads to the Olympics basically in 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the Commonwealth Games for us as a training group in Birmingham is huge. Like having it's one thing having a home games in your home country, but like having a games in your home city, and like
definitely
seeing the local track getting rebuilt for this competition, like that's super exciting, and I think that's like a massive target for next year. And also, well, there's Worlds, Euros, and Commies all in like the space of a month. So I think it'll just be a case of getting as fit as I can over the next
Definitely.
12 months and seeing what I get the privilege of running. But I would love to be in Birmingham next year.
And yeah,
to do that.
definitely
I
will.
think if I could pick one, everyone else would pick Eugene, but probably
In your hometown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Birmingham 2022.
Maybe do what England's football team couldn't in their own back garden. Sorry, I keep digging at that. I can't help it.
It's nice, you know. You've got to express some smugness somehow.
Yeah. Look, man, I'm from Ireland, so I've no real leg to stand on here. Like we're so bad, so you know we can take what we can from the tournament, and that's that England didn't win it. So I suppose we'll leave it at that.
You know, I'm sure you win like the Gaelic Football World Champs or something like.
No. Well, like
No,
we would, but there isn't anything like that. No,
you should
of
start
course.
it.
Actually, yeah, well, there's a few teams over in England and Australia, like the Aussie rules and whatnot. But you know, the big Gaelic football over here, it's all pretty much just nationally. Fortunately, the county I'm from, Dublin, is the best in the country. So there's an upside to that anyway. We're getting some victory somewhere.
Good.
Definitely. So no, Mark, I really do appreciate you coming on to the podcast and having a chat. I did really enjoy it.
Good. No, thanks for having me.
No.
It's been a pleasure.
Perfect. And we'll definitely all be keeping an eye out on you in the Commonwealth Games, the World Champs, and fingers crossed for Paris 2024.
Indeed. All the best with your rehab.
Thank you very much.
And the podcast. Cheers.
See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.